I made it work. All right. So thanks for everybody that's joining us. We actually are doing this a little bit different today. We've got a all-female podcast takeover today. This is the South Florida Tech Podcast. We're actually a weekly show where we bring you the awesome, innovative people building our South Florida tech community. Each week, we'll introduce to you one of the Sunshine State's top tech leaders, learn about who they are, what they do, and have some fun conversation along the way. Our podcast is presented by the Palm Beach Tech Association, a nonprofit dedicated to building South Florida into a tech hub. I am actually your fill-in guest host. My name is Nikki Cabus. I'm the VP of Development for Palm Beach Tech. Our normal host, our president and CEO, Joe Russo, is actually on vacation today. And I also like to introduce our co-host, Joanna Mikkola, the CEO and co-founder of Wyncode Academy. Joe, if you'd like to tell us a little bit about what Wyncode is.
Great. Hi, guys. Awesome to be here. And this is going to be so exciting with our all-female cast and also two of my most favorite women in the South Florida tech scene. But yeah, my name's Joe, CEO of Wyncode, where we help educate people in software development and UX UI product design to help them launch new careers in technology. And been around almost for 7 years here in South Florida and really proud to do that. So I'm happy to be here today.
Perfect. Thank you, Joanna. And just a quick sponsor message. Our sponsor this afternoon is Emerge Americas. Each year, global enterprises, disruptive technology, and elite startups are highlighted at Emerge's premier tech event, Connecting the Americas. The event is held in Miami Beach each year, which is to date has hosted organizations from over 40 countries and featured over 250 speakers from around the world. Emerge Americas is transforming Miami's tech hub by connecting entrepreneurs, investors, leading business executives, and decision makers. And I'd like to introduce our guest, Maxeme Tuchman. Maxeme is the CEO and co-founder of Caribu, an interactive video calling platform that helps grandparents and parents read and draw with children when they're not in the same location. Maxeme is a first-generation Cuban American who grew up in Miami, Florida. We're actually very happy to have her actually with us this week, being Hispanic Heritage Month as well. Her commitment to educational equity began as a Tech for America Corps member, teaching 480 students in inner city Miami, and has led to working on educational innovation projects with organizations such as the Harlem Children's Zone, DC Public Schools, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Maxeme received her BA from New College of Florida, holds an MBA from Harvard Business School, and an MPP from the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. Caribu made Fast Company's list of world-changing ideas for 2019 and was named one of the top 10 ed tech companies to watch by Forbes, and became one of the most innovative startups in the world by winning the 1776 Global Challenge Cup. Max has been the winner or finalist in over 30 pitch competitions, which I think is awesome, and the 59th Latina in the US to raise over $1 million in venture funding, and the first Latina to raise over $1 million in equity crowdfunding, and was recently named as one of Inc. magazine's top 100 female founders for 2019. Mouthful of wonderful accomplishments. So welcome, Maxeme.
Thank you. I'm like going down memory lane with that bio. I'm like, oh, right, I did work there. I'm just,
yeah. You're like, I did do that.
I'm like, that was cool. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Max, tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, just anything, about yourself you'd like to share.
Yeah. I, most importantly, born and raised in South Florida, in Miami, Mercy Hospital, 305 Ride or Die. Very, very proud to be from here and to be a product of the public school system, and to be a product of this amazing community. So I am really, really honored to be able to have the chance to build and grow my company here, right? We made a very conscious choice, which at the time, people made some crazy comments about it, but we made the very conscious choice to build and grow our tech company in Miami. And so we're building Caribu, which is, as you mentioned, right, we're the leading educational family entertainment platform for kids ages 0 to 13 to have a virtual play date with their family and friends, no matter how far apart they are, right? So we had an incredible use case before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit, and we have an even better use case. And as you saw from my bio, education is my thing. I have been trying to just kind of, provide equitable educational solutions for kids since I was a kid. And I'm really, really just so like, I'm blessed that I think I'm growing up at a time where technology, has kind of advanced so much that we can meet kids where they are, right? I can, Joe and I met when I was running Teach for America here in Miami, and like, you can only affect so many kids when you're kind of at that nonprofit or, kind of that level. And now I get to affect hundreds of thousands of kids across the globe, which is pretty cool.
That is so awesome. I mean, talk about scaling impact and being able to reach. It's so cool. And so, as you mentioned, we first met back in the TFA days, which was awesome. You were already a force then. And and now here you are, like, wow, like I'm grinning ear to ear when I hear those accolades. I can only imagine how it feels for you. And I saw recently, like, even Tim Cook like tweeted about you guys, CEO of Apple. I mean, what? You guys have been scaling the business. So like in your journey so far to where you are now, CEO, co-founder of this awesome education tech company, like, did you always see yourself as an entrepreneur? Are you like, you just said it's great to go down memory lane and hear those things. Are you like, whoa, that's my life? Or were you like, this was the plan all along?
I mean, I just always wanted to solve problems. Like I don't think I even knew the word entrepreneur, but my family, we're generations of Jews and Cubans who just keep fleeing places. And so like, it's in our blood. It's literally in our DNA where we're just like, oh crap, like everything just got taken from us. Like we have to start all over again. Like, let's be, creative. And I think there's just the Cuban culture of like, if you can keep a 1956 Chevy running with like tape and gum and like string, like string, like, I mean, and love, like, and hope, then I feel like you grow up with that kind of mentality. Like there's just always something that could be improved. And I feel like I just kind of always grew up in that culture. And then that's what my parents did, right? When they came here to the US, like they started a small business, and that's where I kind of, spent my after school hours was, with my parents in their store in downtown on Flagler Street, right? I mean, like literally we just kind of, that was the American dream, right? You start your own business, you get to keep your business in this country. Doesn't always happen. And then you get to provide jobs for other people, right? Like so again, I'm loving that I get to do that here. I don't know if I answered your question.
No, it's really cool. So in looking at your kind of like also your personal career journey, but also, you went to amazing schools, got amazing degrees. You saw your parents, because I'm an entrepreneur, let's be honest, it looks glamorous, but oh my God, is it it's a roller coaster. So I'm wondering, like, were you going down, watching your parents, were you like, that's awesome, I want to do that, but also I'm going to get this awesome education so that just in case I could also like not be an entrepreneur, or that, was that part of the plan at the time? And when, and specifically also what I'm curious about is, when did you decide that you were an entrepreneur? Like, do you see the title?
Okay. So such good stuff there. So I think the education piece has been, it's kind of been my parents' dream. And then it was my dream, right? Like my parents didn't graduate from college. I think only my mom went for like a semester. And no one else in my family had graduated from college, right? Like this was the reason they came to this country, was to give me, kind of more opportunities. And when you grow up with that family history, right? Holocaust survivors, like Cuban exiles, like you just end up being an overachiever, and like nothing is ever good enough because your grandma went through Auschwitz, and like you can never repay her for like all the sacrifices. And so like at every turn, I just felt like I kind of had to overachieve and like do more. And also one of the things that I noticed was when I walked into a room, the assumption was, oh, here's a little Cuban girl, like she doesn't know what she's doing, let her get coffee, or like, right, that just, there were so many assumptions about, there was a lot of underestimation. And I just kept seeing that when I would walk into a room and someone had a fancy degree from Harvard, like everything changed. It didn't matter what they looked like, right? It didn't matter their background. All of a sudden, like Harvard had said that they were really smart and fabulous. And so therefore everyone else believed them. And I was like, well, I want that like magic pixie dust. And it's true. It actually is true. Like, it doesn't matter actually how talented or qualified I am for anything. I walk in a room and I'm like, oh yeah, I have a Harvard MBA. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, like she must be really smart and we should listen to her. And I was like, I like that. I want people to listen to me. I want people to think that I'm qualified for things. And it even happened in the pitches, you know, in the beginning days, as you know, Joe, right? Like you get the pitch template, and the pitch template is usually like problem, solution, product, traction, and then it's team. It's like team at the end where it's like, oh yeah, and these are the people that are going to build it. And I got feedback that people were like, oh, you know, the entire presentation, I was looking at you as like, oh, you're a teacher. Of course you care about education, but you can't run your business. You have no idea what, like, you know, financial accounting looks like or financial projections look like. And so all of a sudden, you know, 17 slides in, I have my Harvard Business School logo, and they were like, oh, maybe she does understand. But they had spent the entire presentation doubting that I could run my company. So literally moved that slide to like slide 3. I was like, Caribu, I went to HBS. Okay, let's move on, right? Like it was, so, you know, it's one of those things that I don't know that I necessarily aspired to it when I was like growing up. I don't even think I even knew what Harvard was when I was growing up. But I just saw how important it could be, and like grabbed it, and they let me in. So I was like, okay, I'll do this.
Well, you are pretty intelligent.
But
For sure. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people don't give enough credit for themselves, and I feel like you did the same. Even when Joe asked that question, your face kind of was like, you know, you don't feel like putting the entrepreneur title on yourself, or kind of how to you know, but you do. I mean, you are an entrepreneur, and you've worked hard for what you've gotten, and yeah, you deserve it from people give you the title.
Yeah, I think the entrepreneur thing is interesting too, because like I said, I feel like I've been solving problems my whole life, but then like entrepreneur became like a job title after a while, right? Like, I don't think I grew up like, you know how you take those like tests in high school where it's like, what are you gonna like? And I like, I don't even remember what I got. Maybe I got like film director or something. But I don't think entrepreneur was on there. But at the end of the day, I'm just a scientist, right? Like, I'm just testing a lot of things, and things are working out or not.
I like that.
Yeah, me too. And I really like hearing just about your culture and the upbringing. And I know, I mean, I'm a super, you know, I feel like I fangirl over you too. So I follow everything that you do and like all your stuff on LinkedIn. And, you know, one thing that I always really loved about you was just how outspoken you were for different minority communities and even for women. I definitely just want to know, like, you know, for you, what are some of the most challenging pieces of being a female entrepreneur, and what are some of the reasons why you feel like that you should be outspoken like you are?
It's that underestimation, right? It's people like just immediately judging you the second you walk in the door. And it's not always, it's a lot of times intrinsic bias, right? It's just bias that they've been carrying along, and they don't even realize they're doing it, right? Some of them do realize they're doing it, but some don't. And I think I've always kind of realized that. And so I've always overcompensated for that. And I think that you don't necessarily have to live your life being like, oh, I'm always being underestimated, but I think you can be more proactive. Like I said about the slide, right? Like, you can be very proactive about kind of assuaging those issues before they even show up, because why not, right? If you know that people are going to make those assumptions about you, why not try and nip those in the bud as quickly as possible, so that you can move forward, right? So that you can actually do business with someone and help them understand that they're, you know, that they're maybe not giving you the benefit of the doubt, or even learning enough about you to kind of understand where you're coming from, or to give you, you know, kind of the same grace that they would give someone else who doesn't look like you. And then I think the other reason why I do it is because, not just because of these, you know, people who are very biased, but because I think we need to see more examples of that, right? We need to see more women in rooms commanding attention and presenting and answering questions. And we need to see more women with kids doing that, more pregnant women doing that, right? Like, when the founder of The Wing was on the magazine, the female founder list from last year. She was on the cover pregnant. And it was like, this is the first time a pregnant woman has been on the cover of like a tech business magazine. Like, yes,
impactful. Yeah,
that happens. Yes. And guess what? Like women move on. Like we're like, so I just think as much as we possibly, and it's not only important for women to see that, it's so important for men to have that example as well, right?
I agree. Yeah, very much agree. And has there been, because you've obviously been highlighted in different ways by different magazines and different articles, and, I mean, has there been really one moment that's been like super unforgettable for you?
When we got named Time magazine's one of their best inventions of 2019, that was the moment, right? I feel like it's so nice to be personally honored. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a female, yay. But when your product is recognized as an amazing invention. I think also it was great for my co-founder, my poor co-founder. Like everyone thinks I make him up because it's like no one ever gets to see him. He's like, kind of the silent but deadly partner. And I think it was just such a great moment for him too. As kind of the creator and the builder of the technology behind Caribu. Like we always say, he builds it and I sell it. So it was just an amazing moment for the two of us because he had really built something that was an incredible invention in our society. And I got the privilege to sell it to the world. So that was pretty great.
So you and Alvaro are awesome dynamic duo. For that time, this is like, I'm just curious, like who spotted it first? Did you guys call each other and freak out, or do you text each other? Like, how do you guys get excited together? Yeah, you're probably having a lot of meetings and he's probably a lot of head down in the tech. So what happens when you come together? Yeah.
A lot of head down in the tech and then little, so we used to work at CIC and we would sit in front of each other. And I'm the type that like, I actually can't focus on more than one thing at a time. Sorry, no, I have to focus on more than one thing at a time. That's who I am. Yeah. So like, I'm constantly like, I'm in emails, I'm like on calls, I'm like looking at stuff, I'm watching YouTube videos. Like, I need to like be constantly looking at stuff. He needs like a 3-hour block of time where Max is not talking to him. So he actually had to install a little thing on his computer that had a red light or a green light. And if it had a red light, like I wasn't allowed to talk to him. And if it had a green light, like I could ask him a question.
That sounds like an engineer. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I was like, look, we have to like figure out the working situation and I have to stop bothering you and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, what's really amazing also, we have almost the same birthday, which I was really worried about when we were coming together as co-founders. Cause I was like, I don't want to work with someone who's as obnoxiously stubborn as I am. Like that is like not going to work. But like his rising moon or sun or something, I don't know, like it's totally different. So we're like kind of like the perfect couple, the perfect, non-romantic couple for a founder relationship. And what's also hilarious is I remember when we raised a pre-seed and we were like, we should go celebrate. And like, we kept putting it off because we were like, who has time to celebrate? And I was like, we have this money, like we need to like deploy it. Like we don't have time to celebrate. We decided finally like, okay, let's like have like a nice lunch, right? Like, let's just like chill out, which of course, like I can't chill out and have a nice lunch. Like I have to, and it just happened to be the moment during that lunch that A-Rod was tweeting about our military initiative. So of course, like here we are trying to celebrate and I'm like really trying to be like in the moment, celebrate with my co-founder. We like, have this big achievement. And then like the A-Rod team is like, hey, is this okay? Like, and I was like, it's like, I don't even think I finished the lunch. So we try to celebrate, but it, we're a fast moving company. So we don't necessarily have the time sometimes.
Yeah. I feel like entrepreneurs are really terrible at celebrating the milestones because we have the next plans. Usually when we hit a milestone, we're like, all right, like looking to the horizon already, which, I say that as like a reminder to myself to get out of it. Cause it's this is going to sound cheesy, but it's true. It's so important to enjoy the journey. But speaking of which, the journey and the milestones, and shout out to Alvaro, what's the vision with Caribu? Like, do you got, you guys have raised some money. Like, are you hoping to be acquired? Are you hoping to take over the world? If there's anything you can share, like how are you guys looking to scale?
I mean, global domination is always my answer, right? I mean, that's kind of every morning I wake up and I'm like, today is the day. It's like Pinky and the Brain, right? Like today's the day. And then every night I'm like, missed it by a little bit. Tomorrow.
You guys are doing pretty good. Pretty good.
Yes, exactly. And I'm curious too, Max, what does your current team look like versus, how are you looking to evolve that? Like, what does your dream team look like once you do have that world domination?
Yeah. So the reason that Tim Cook tweeted about us is because at a time that's been very difficult for a lot of companies and there's been a lot of layoffs, we tripled our team in the last 5 months just because of our insane growth.
That's amazing.
And first of all, it's amazing because like, I'm not doing everything anymore. Let's just start there. I'm like, yes. But second, we provided jobs for people when a lot of times, there weren't a lot. And also our team is 50% female and 67% people of color, which I'm super, super proud of. So not only we're providing, kind of jobs, but also jobs for people of color and women. And then, before the pandemic hit, we had 1.5 engineers on the Caribu team, which I don't think anyone knows that this whole beautiful thing was built by, and by the way, Alvaro's the 0.5.
Yeah.
So we, I think got really far with being a very lean and scrappy team. And now we finally have been able to kind of, grow the engineering team, grow the marketing team. And I think at the end of the day, right, that's what this product is. We're a B2C product. We're now getting into B2B, a crazy thing. Employers are reaching out to us about using Caribu as a benefit for their employees who are working from home, right? Caribu can be a virtual babysitter while parents are in these very important meetings, and grandma can step in, or you can hire a babysitter. And so we're getting into the B2B space, which is exciting. But I think what's been great is being able to actually support the product in a way that we've never been able to do before.
That's awesome. Cool. That's an awesome milestone.
Yeah.
That's worth celebrating.
That's huge. Yeah. Huge. And I know Joe wants to do a quick rapid fire questions here. So I've got one last question before we do that and get into the fun piece. But I did want to ask.
That's just more
the whole
fun.
thing has been fun. I know. I did want to ask again, because I know going back to supporting the minority communities, and that is something that you've been a huge advocate for, is what do you think the community, or we the people, what can we do to support more of our minority communities?
It is giving them access to training like what Joe does. I have been the biggest fan of what, kind of Wyncode has been doing since my Teach for America days, right? Because I even saw it at Teach for America. Here I was producing a pipeline of leaders, right? Who were spending 2 years in the classroom, who wanted to provide educational equity, who wanted to make the world a better place. And I already saw back then that it was going to happen through tech, right? That we were going to be able to provide access and equity. And also even the students that I taught at Miami Northwestern, I knew that they could literally break themselves out of a cycle of poverty if they got tech jobs and, were getting paid $180,000 a year to do something at some big tech company. And all of a sudden had access to things that, they never could have dreamed of. And I think that we have to build that pipeline, right? As soon as Caribu has the money, I want to start doing the providing scholarships for women and minorities to learn coding, so that we're just building a bigger pool. Because that's the thing. I mean, the CEO of Wells Fargo just said oh, I can't find Black talent. Are you kidding me? First of all, don't say that, because that's not true. But second of all, because I hate when people say that about female founders too. I would invest in them if I could find them.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. They're out there. Yeah.
What? But it's, you have to make sure that pipeline is being built, and it starts very early, and it starts even before Joe gets them, right? It starts in kindergarten, when, you're starting to make girls fall in love with STEAM. And now apparently we went too much on girls and we need to help the boys too. So like all kids need to focus on that. So anyways,
yeah, no, I think that's a great point, and huge shout out, Joe, with what you're doing at Wyncode, because, I think you made a huge important point, is just that tech really can level the playing field for all cultures and all denominations and everything. I mean, it's really, I think it is one of the main things that really can level the playing field for everybody and bring education to communities that may not have had the same opportunities.
And I know we're about to go into rapid fire, but like, it is a societal imperative that we have more women and people of color building our code, right? As AI continues to get more integrated, it's already here. But as it continues to get more integrated, like AI learns from humans. And if it's learning from a bunch of white dudes, like white bros, like tech bros, we're in such trouble, right? And so I don't think people realize how important it is, the things we're putting into that machine learning. And if we're not diversifying the people that are working on that, then there's no way that the machine can be, kind of more open. And I don't know how the machine can be open.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, better program. The machine needs to be
programmed. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm only on like coffee number 1.
Oh man, I totally agree. And it's so funny. I mean, the data has shown, like Harvard, for example, Stanford have shown that diverse teams build the best products. So
yeah,
yes, we are all equals, and there's definitely that human level, but there's also a business incentive to build these diverse teams. And so, I hope in our lifetime, we're going to see a dramatic shift. And I know lots of great work is happening there, and you're part of that great work that's happening. And it's awesome to hear about the makeup of your team too. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So a little rapid fire before we close out here.
Okay.
Get ready, Max. Okay. Max pitched so many times that there is no scenario that would make her nervous.
You should be ready for this.
When you've been a teacher in front of 18-year-olds,
oh yeah,
you're done. I don't care if you're a partner at Sequoia, you will not scare me. But
okay, what is the book on your nightstand right now?
Okay, it's something about like a bluff. It's a book about poker. And it was gifted to me by Evan Oster, who is in our South Florida tech community. He worked on a CLV analysis for us. He's amazing. He's like a super awesome data scientist, and just surprised me with a book about bluffs and poker. And I've been really enjoying it. So thank you, Evan.
Thanks, Evan. That's cool. What is your most productive time of day?
Whew, that's easy. 12 a.m. to 6 a.m.
12 a.m. to 6 a.m. is your most productive time? Okay, well, this is going to be good. What time do you go to bed?
6 a.m.
And what time do you wake up?
11:15.
I love it. This is unexpected. I like it, because in the previous podcast, we're getting I go to bed at 10, I wake up at 7. So, all right,
no,
guys,
those are weirdos.
recipe for success right here. What is currently your favorite podcast?
Okay, I know I'm not supposed to say this on a podcast, but I don't listen to podcasts.
Love the honesty.
Good. It's good. Who has time?
I don't like people talking at me. Like I don't listen to talk radio. I don't listen to NPR. I just don't like people talking at me. Like, I want to be able to engage.
Okay. How about last movie you saw?
The Five Bloods.
Wow.
And is there a motto or a saying or a mantra you live by?
A lot. I have a lot. But in 4th grade, this is gonna be super weird. In 4th grade, I think, yeah. When you start
4th grade Max.
So in 4th grade, Nike had just come out with their motto of "Just do it." And I decided, if I see someone just doing it, then I can do it too. Like I'm never gonna limit myself. Like, I'm just gonna go do it.
Awesome.
Love it.
Shout out to Nike.
Yeah, shout out to Nike. So we are right about time. So I just want to take a moment to give a shout out to actually one of our other sponsors, MediaOps.com. MediaOps.com, their premier global media platform for technical communities with brands such as DevOps.com, Security Boulevard, Container Journal, and Digital Anarchist. And again, Thank you so much, Max, for coming on. I've had fun being a fill-in guest host today with Joe as well. And shout out, of course, to Wyncode. I love doing our ladies podcast today.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
Thank you all. All right.
Thank you so much, Mac. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks both.
Have a great day, ladies.
Bye, you too.
Bye.